I should have turned back. I knew it the moment the air grew cold, the moment the usual birdsong of the elvenwood was replaced by a chilling silence. It was a fool's errand, venturing off the marked path, but Alara's necklace. It was a family heirloom, lost on our anniversary picnic. She was heartbroken, and I was determined. The path thinned, the ancient, gnarled trees twisting into menacing shapes, their branches clawing at the fading sunlight. The air grew heavy, the silence broken only by the crunching of leaves under my boots. I called out Alara's name, my voice echoing unnaturally through the oppressive stillness. The trees seemed to lean in, their twisted branches forming a cage around me. The emerald moss, usually vibrant and luminous, now seemed dull, almost decaying. I felt a prickling sensation on the back of my neck, the distinct feeling of being watched. I turned quickly, but there was nothing there. Then I saw it. A faint glimmer of silver caught my eye, nestled amongst the roots of an ancient oak. Relief washed over me, quickly followed by a wave of unease. The oak was unlike any I'd seen in Elfwood. Its bark was a sickly grey, its branches adorned with strange, pulsating growths. The air around it felt colder, the fog swirling like a restless spirit. As I reached for the necklace, a low growl rumbled through the woods, vibrating through the very ground beneath my feet. My blood ran cold. I snatched the necklace, scrambling back, my eyes darting through the deepening gloom. The growling intensified, closer now. I could smell something, rank, metallic, mixed with the sickly sweet scent of decay. My hand tightened around the necklace, its familiar shape a small comfort in the rising terror. I had to run. I turned to flee, but the path, it was gone. The trees seemed to have shifted, closing in, trapping me in a circle of gnarled branches and suffocating fog. Panic clawed at my throat. I spun around, desperately searching for an escape, but the trees were a solid wall, their gnarled branches intertwining like skeletal fingers. The growling was right behind me now, hot, fetid breath on my neck. I squeezed my eyes shut, bracing for the inevitable, but it didn't come. Slowly, I opened my eyes. The growling had stopped. The silence returned, heavier, more oppressive than before. And then a voice whispering from the fog, "Lost, little lamb." The voice was ancient, raspy, laced with a chilling amusement. I couldn't see where it was coming from, the fog too thick, the shadows too deep. "Who's there?" I stammered, my voice barely a whisper. The fog shifted, swirling around me, and a figure began to coalesce from the gloom. Tall, gaunt, with skin like pale bark and eyes that glowed with an unnatural light. It wasn't human, not entirely. It was elven, but twisted, corrupted, a mockery of the graceful beings I knew. It smiled, a slow, predatory grin that revealed teeth like sharpened thorns. "We've been expecting you," it hissed, its voice like the rustling of dead leaves. "The wood hungers," my mind reeled. This wasn't the Elfwood I knew. This was something else, something dark and ancient, something hungry. I clutched Alara's necklace, the cool metal a small comfort in the face of the growing horror. "Let me go," I pleaded, my voice trembling. The creature chuckled, a dry, rasping sound that sent shivers down my spine. "Let you go," the creature mocked, tilting its head. "But the wood hasn't had its due. We offer a trade, little lamb, a trinket for a life, a fair exchange, wouldn't you say?" It gestured towards the necklace in my hand. "Give us what you carry and perhaps we'll let you walk away." I hesitated. Alara's necklace. It was all I had left of her, all I had left of our life together. But my life was worth more than a trinket, wasn't it? My hand trembled as I unclasped the necklace. It felt cold against my skin, a stark contrast to the burning fear that coursed through my veins. "Here," I whispered, extending the necklace towards the creature. It reached out, its long, skeletal fingers closing around the silver chain. As its touch brushed my skin, a jolt of icy energy shot through me, leaving me numb and breathless. The creature's eyes flared, a hungry gleam in their depths. With a sickening crackle, the necklace disintegrated into dust in its grasp. The creature let out a shriek of frustration, its form flickering and distorting. "Fool," it hissed, its voice laced with venomous rage. "You offer us a trinket of no power. You dare to mark the wood." The fog swirled around it, growing darker, thicker, suffocating. I stumbled back, fear turning to icy despair. I had made a terrible mistake. The creature lunged, its clawed hand reaching for me, its eyes burning with a furious hunger. I closed my eyes, waiting for the end. But instead of pain, I felt nothing, a strange emptiness, a chilling void. Slowly, I opened my eyes. The creature was gone. The fog had cleared, revealing the path, clear and inviting, bathed in the warm glow of the setting sun. I was free, but something felt wrong, terribly wrong. I stumbled towards the path, my legs weak, my mind numb. As I reached the edge of the wood, I saw her, Ilara. She was sitting on our picnic blanket, her back to me, humming a familiar tune. Relief washed over me, so powerful it brought tears to my eyes. "Ilara!" I cried, running towards her. She turned, a smile lighting up her face. But the smile, it wasn't right. It was too wide, too fixed, revealing teeth that were too sharp, too long. Her eyes, once warm and loving, now glowed with the same unnatural light as the creature in the woods. "You're back," she purred, her voice a chilling echo of the creature's raspy whisper. "And you brought us something so much more precious than a trinket." She stood up, her form flickering, distorting, the image of my beloved Ilara replaced by the gaunt, terrifying figure from the fog. The wood hadn't taken a trinket, it had taken Ilara. It had taken her form, her voice, her memories. It had taken everything that made her mine. And now it was wearing her like a mask, a grotesque parody of the woman I loved. I opened my mouth to scream, but no sound came out. Only the chilling laughter of the creature, echoing through the now silent, empty wood. I looked down at my hand, still clutching the dust that remained of Ilara's necklace. Then I understood. It wasn't a trinket of no power. It was a ward, a protection against the wood's hunger, and I had given it away. Now the wood had its due. It had taken Ilara, and it had taken me too. I was desperate. My wife, Ilara, her laughter, her touch. Gone. A wasting sickness, the doctors called it. Like a thief in the night, it stole her away. I couldn't accept it. Couldn't bear the silence of our home. That's when I heard whispers of a man, a recluse living in the shadowed marshes. A necromancer. They said he could bring back the dead. Foolish, I know, but grief makes fools of us all. So under the sickly glow of a waning crescent moon, I sought him out. His dwelling was a crumbling ruin, choked with strange herbs and the stench of decay. The necromancer, a gaunt figure cloaked in shadows, barely looked at me. His voice when he spoke was a dry rasp, like leaves skittering across dead earth. He listened to my plea, his eyes, two burning coals in the dim light, never leaving mine. "There is a price," he finally croaked, and a chill colder than the marsh air snaked down my spine. He demanded a sacrifice, a life for a life. Not just any life, but a life brimming with vitality, a life, innocent. The thought was repugnant, sickening, but the image of Ilara's face, her gentle smile, burned in my mind. My hand trembled as I reached into my pocket, clutching the small wooden horse I'd carved for our unborn child. I hadn't told Ilara yet. The necromancer's eyes glinted. He knew. The ritual was a blur of chanted words, choking fumes, and the unsettling flicker of candlelight on the necromancer's face. He placed Ilara's locket, the one I'd given her on our wedding day, on a makeshift altar. The air grew heavy, thick with an unnatural stillness. Then a low moan echoed through the hut, and the ground beneath my feet began to tremble. From the shadows, a figure emerged. Ilara, my breath caught in my throat. She was different. Her eyes, once full of warmth, were now vacant, glassy. Her skin, once vibrant, was pale and cold. But it was her, my Ilara. She reached out, her touch sending a shiver of ice through my veins. Relief warred with a growing unease. We returned home, hand in unnaturally cold hand. The silence I had dreaded was replaced by a different kind of silence, a hollow, empty one. Ilara moved through the house like a ghost, her eyes never truly focusing on anything. She didn't speak, didn't smile, she just existed. Nights were the worst. Ilara would stand by the window, staring out at the moon, a low, guttural moan escaping her lips. The same moan I'd heard in the necromancer's hut. It chilled me to the bone. Sleep became a luxury I couldn't afford, haunted by the image of her lifeless eyes and the bargain I had made. I tried to talk to her, to reach the woman I loved, but it was like speaking to a wall. Her vacant stare met mine, and I felt a pang of despair so profound it nearly broke me. What had I done? One night I awoke to a chilling silence. Ilara wasn't in bed. I stumbled through the dark house, calling her name, my heart pounding in my chest. I found her in the nursery, standing over the empty crib, her hand outstretched. A wave of nausea washed over me. The wooden horse, the sacrifice, it all clicked into place. "Elara," I whispered, my voice trembling. She slowly turned, and for the first time since her return, a flicker of something appeared in her eyes. It wasn't recognition. It wasn't love. It was hunger. A primal, ravenous hunger that made my blood run cold. She lunged at me, her lifeless eyes burning with an unholy light. I scrambled back, knocking over the rocking chair, the sound echoing in the silent house. Her cold hand clamped around my wrist, her grip surprisingly strong. I could feel the life draining out of me, sucked away by her icy touch. As darkness crept in at the edges of my vision, I saw it. A small wooden horse clutched in her other hand, the horse I had carved for our child, the child she would never have, the child I had sacrificed. My last thought, as the world faded to black, was of the necromancer's words, "A life for a life, but be warned, sometimes the dead hunger for more." I've always been drawn to the abandoned, places where time stands still, thick with the dust of forgotten memories. This old manor, perched on a windswept hill overlooking the desolate moors, was no exception. It called to me, a siren song of crumbling stone and shadowed windows. I should have heeded the warnings whispered by the locals, tales of strange lights and chilling whispers carried on the wind. The grand hall was a cavernous space, dominated by a sweeping staircase that seemed to ascend into darkness. Dust motes danced in the slivers of moonlight that pierced through the grimy windows, illuminating faded tapestries depicting grotesque scenes of mythical beasts and shadowy figures. A chill permeated the air, deeper than the natural coolness of the stone. The silence was unnerving, broken only by the creaking of the floorboards beneath my feet. A faint sound, like a whispered sigh, drifted from the shadows at the top of the staircase. My heart hammered against my ribs. I froze, straining my ears, trying to identify the source of the sound. Had it been the wind whistling through a broken pane of glass, or something else? Something alive. The hair on the back of my neck prickled. I knew I should leave, turn back and run as fast as I could, but the morbid curiosity that had led me here now held me captive. Taking a deep breath, I started up the stairs, each step a reluctant surrender to the unknown. The wood groaned beneath my weight, the sound echoing through the silent house like a mournful cry. The higher I climbed, the colder it became. The air grew thick, heavy with a cloying sweetness that made my stomach churn. It was the smell of decay, of something ancient and corrupt. I felt a presence, a growing weight on my chest, as if the very air was pushing down on me. I reached the top of the stairs and found myself in a long, dimly lit corridor. Closed doors lined either side, each one a dark, silent sentinel guarding its own secrets. The same cloying sweetness hung in the air, now stronger, more pervasive. I felt a prickling sensation on my skin, as if unseen eyes were watching me, assessing me. A low growl echoed from the end of the corridor, a sound that vibrated deep within my bones. Fear, cold and sharp, gripped my heart. The growl came again, closer this time, followed by the scraping of claws against stone. My breath hitched in my throat. I fumbled for my flashlight, my hand shaking so badly I could barely hold it steady. The beam danced erratically across the walls, revealing fleeting glimpses of grotesque carvings, twisted faces, skeletal figures, and writhing tentacles. I knew I had to run, but my legs felt like lead, rooted to the spot. A shadowy figure emerged from the darkness at the end of the corridor. It was tall and gaunt, its limbs elongated and distorted, its head shrouded in darkness. Its eyes glowed with an unnatural light, burning into me with a malevolent intensity. A wave of terror washed over me, paralyzing me with fear. I tried to scream, but no sound escaped my lips. The creature lunged, its clawed hand reaching for me. I stumbled backward, tripping over my own feet and fell to the floor. The flashlight clattered away, plunging the corridor into near darkness. I scrambled back, desperately trying to escape, but the creature was too fast. It pinned me to the ground, its weight crushing the air from my lungs. I closed my eyes, bracing for the inevitable. But instead of pain, I felt coldness, an icy chill that seeped into my bones, freezing the very marrow within. I opened my eyes to see the creature's face inches from mine. Its features were shifting, morphing into something familiar. The features solidified, and I stared in horror at my own reflection. The creature's eyes, once glowing with malevolence, now held my own fear, my own despair. I realized with a chilling certainty that I wasn't looking at a monster, but at myself. A twisted, corrupted version of myself, born from the shadows of this cursed place. The creature, or rather my doppelganger, opened its mouth, and a voice, my voice, whispered, "You shouldn't have come here." The words echoed through my mind, chilling me to the core. I felt a searing pain as something cold and sharp pierced my chest. I looked down to see a clawed hand, my clawed hand, protruding from my chest. My vision blurred, the world around me fading into darkness. I could feel my life force draining away, being sucked into the shadowy form above me. The last thing I saw, before the darkness consumed me completely, was my own face, twisted into a grotesque parody of a smile. I woke up in the grand hall, lying at the foot of the stairs. The sun streamed through the grimy windows, painting the room in a soft, golden light. It was as if the nightmarish events of the previous hours had never happened. But then I looked down at my hands. My fingers were elongated, tipped with sharp, black claws. The skin was pale and cold, and when I looked at my reflection in a shard of broken glass, I saw the same glowing eyes, the same twisted smile that had haunted my dreams. I am the shadow now. I reign supreme, and I am waiting for the next lost soul to wander through these gates.